So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining this webinar today. My name is Boris de Lorme, and I'm the country manager of Ebury Canada. And today we will be talking about our global cash management and how to make the most out of Ebury's capabilities. On to the next slide, please. Next slide.
You're not seeing the slide, Boris?
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah. So in an increasingly globalized world, businesses from all sizes have been exploring opportunities to trade internationally, basically to grow and expand their businesses. So this is on one hand creating a huge potential, but at the same time, it also exposes your business to a number of challenges from a global transaction perspective. Ebury is obviously very well known for our FX capabilities and the risk management solutions that we offer to our clients. But we have noticed that not everyone is aware of the cash management solutions that we offer as well. If you go to the next slide, Pedro. So today's webinar is about how to trade and transact globally by leveraging the financial solutions that are available in the market. We will start off with incoming and outgoing payments by leveraging the payment capabilities, the mass payment solutions, Ebury Instant, and the currency collection accounts that we offer. After that, we will touch on how these products are supported and fully integrated with the Ebury online system that most of our clients are aware of. And last but not least, we will go over how Ebury's team of dealers utilize our in-house data analytics to enhance the service and to optimize your treasury function and international payments. At the end of this webinar, we will cover all of your questions as well. So if you have any questions, please drop them in the Q&A section below in the lower end of your screen. And yeah, before I pass it over to Pedro, thanks again for joining today. And we hope this will be a valuable session for every one of you. Pedro is going to speak a bit more in detail about the different topics. So over to you, Pedro.
Thank you very much, Boris. Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And yeah, like Boris well said, the main focus of today will be to focus on our mainly our cash management capabilities within the so I'm going to be starting with our international payments capabilities, both on the payables and the receipts. Looking a bit at the cash management, englobing everything under cash management, so mostly through our online platform EBO, where you can keep track of all the treasury moves internationally, all your flows with different tools, and then how using Ebury services other than just the FX side, namely incoming payments, outgoing payments, how we from a service perspective can use all that data through our different data analytics, improve the efficiency of transactions, and offer added value from a service standpoint as well. So going to the first part, outgoing payments. So Ebury, obviously having our FX capabilities, for which we're renowned, has a very strong transactional capabilities worldwide in terms of doing payments, with correspondent banks as well working with us. So we've got very strong payment capabilities. Namely, we can pay in 143 currencies around the world. Number of banks that we work through is 35. So that gives us a very strong local presence in around the globe in terms of being able to execute those payouts in a very fast and convenient manner. So most of the currencies that many companies trade with worldwide, we can execute with the same day value, such as the ones that you can see on the left, and many of them being executed that same day within a couple of hours after execution. So as you can see, large number of exotic currencies are with D+1 value as well, and then D+2. Another thing that we're going to go into during the webinar is Ebury Instant, which is one of the capabilities that we offer for instant payments across the globe as well, between Ebury clients. And then on the topic of outgoing payments, one of the areas where we're really strong is, and we continue to improve our capabilities, is through local payouts. So most of our outgoing payments are handled through SWIFT, which gives you the transparency, GPI tracking, which is another of the topics I'm going to touch on shortly. But then we work with local payment schemes, such as Faster Payment Scheme in the UK, for example, which allows for instant payments 24/7 throughout the whole year, so 7 days a week. And then SEPA, for example, in the European Union, so payments being directed and routed through the SEPA payment scheme. And then, yeah, in terms of most of our payments, which are handled through SWIFT, one very useful tool that we have and that's been very successful with many of our clients is the connectivity to SWIFT GPI. So SWIFT GPI is a relatively new system developed by SWIFT, through which we can participating financial institutions can track payments real time, the whole journey of the payment, as you can see on the map below, being able to see the different intermediary banks that the payment has moved around, gone through, with all the relevant information in terms of timings, possible deductions, etc., etc. So this is very useful for many of our clients making payments to around the world, in the way that many times when for example your beneficiaries come back to they haven't received the payments, most of the time we find 95% of the time is because the beneficiary bank actually hasn't performed the credit. So in those cases, it's very easy to just come back to us, request a GPI, which takes normally about 5-10 minutes for us to generate and send over to you, send that back to the beneficiary, so that they can share with the bank and actually prove that the funds arrived at the beneficiary bank in time. Then going over into Ebury Instant. So Ebury Instant is a feature that we brought out about 1.5 years ago. The idea here was to utilize Ebury's global presence around the world to really enable a form of payment or payment scheme that's outside of the current banking system. So basically instant payments within Ebury clients. So for example, if you're paying beneficiaries that are or suppliers that are based in Hong Kong, they may be working very likely with Ebury Hong Kong as well. So by paying other Ebury clients through Ebury Instant, you ensure that they get the funds, 100% of the funds with no deductions, absolutely instantly. So that's very useful, very cost effective, and yeah, very positive in terms of timing. Another feature on the outgoing payment side is the mass payments. So mass payments is actually something that Ebury has been offering for quite a few years, but it's really been reinforced in the last 1.5 years too, through the addition of a company specialized in this field to the Ebury group, which has really enabled us to push this product and it's actually doing. So the idea here is to be able to offer you the possibility to upload a single file with up to 100,000 payments. For example, payroll is very useful for payrolls, for example, international payrolls. So it allows you to very efficiently and quickly upload those beneficiary lists, and for Ebury to execute the payments all at one time, even in different currencies. So that's something that either through our API or through our online platform can be executed. So it's very wide-reaching and time effective. On the income and payment side, so receivable, this is another area where we've got very, very strong capabilities that are very useful to our clients. So the idea here is to utilize that same web of Ebury and we work with around the globe to allow our clients to be able to collect or channel funds from clients internationally. So here's just a very quick example, a graphic example of the countries that we can collect locally. So we can collect, we've got collection accounts in 30 countries around the world, obviously, including all of the main G10 currencies, but then some more exotic or more unusual currencies that you would normally be able to collect locally. In terms of number of currencies that we can collect, the number is 49, 21 of which, we can collect locally. So meaning that we have local collection accounts in that given country. And then using that same web and that same infrastructure of Ebury collection accounts throughout the globe, another very, very impressive and useful feature that we developed a couple of years ago was the ability to assign collection accounts to our clients in their own name. So we're able to actually offer you account details in 18 countries where you've got your own private account details for collections in your own name. So you can actually give your clients a personalized bank account to which they can make the payment. So the number of currencies for which we can offer currency accounts is 30, out of which 12 of them are local collections, meaning that those bank account details are actually held locally. Just as is the case, for example, of the Bulgarian lev or the Canadian dollar. Most of those currency accounts are the most usual and the most powerful ones, obviously, are those within the G10 currencies. So we see that from our experience, the most useful and commonly used currency accounts are Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, euro, US dollar, Hong Kong dollar, British pound, and offshore yuan in Hong Kong. So as I said before, this really enables your customers and partners to pay you like a local in their selected countries. In many cases, being able to pay through local payment schemes, reducing the transactional costs that they incur, and also allowing for much faster payments, meaning that the supplier is always, the client, is always happier to be able to pay you locally rather than have to do an international wire with all the fees that implies. On the receivable side, another very useful feature that we offer through our online platform, which I'll go into in a minute, is Get Paid. So Get Paid is actually a feature that we have at allowing you to request a payment from your clients. So we generate the communications in a standardized manner. So through Ebury Online, you can just upload that given invoice, select the third party that's supposed to pay those funds in, enter the details, email address, and we automatically generate a sort of payment request as the one that you can see to the right. So this is very useful maybe in cases where the payment deadline has passed and you don't want to be too aggressive chasing the client personally, either through a phone call or through an email. So it allows you to sort of send a more standardized, perhaps an automated get paid request that's coming from Ebury. Contains all the collection account details, may it be a collection account in your name or on Ebury's name, and it makes it very straightforward and simple for third parties to make those payments through Ebury. And then going over to our online platform. So this is really where we put everything together, both on the outgoing payments, the incoming payments, as well as obviously our FX capabilities, trade finance capabilities. This is really the central part of our offerings in terms of transactional banking. So here I've just shared a very simple screenshot with you of what the outgoing payments page on the platform would look like. So it's very easy to keep track of all your outgoing payments. You can download statements of outgoing payments. You can filter by different currencies. You've got a number of filters that you can use So it's all very simple and transparent and easy for you to keep track. Same thing on the receivable side. So very easy to keep track of the different third parties, clients, for example, that have been paying in to your Ebury account, and also to keep track of the requests that you've been making. Also on this side, you can see on the top right the get paid option. So that would bring up a pop-up through which you can send that get paid request as well. And then sort of putting all this together in terms of treasury flows, incoming and outgoing. You've got the main page which shows you the different balances that you keep with Ebury. So every time you receive funds on your Ebury account, you can either choose to keep those in your balance, or change them to different currencies, repatriate them, or even use them to make payments either in that same currency or in different currencies through our FX conversion. So as you can see, the idea here is to keep everything under one same roof. Avoid having to have different bank accounts for different currencies in different banks. So this really brings everything under the same platform, giving you much more visibility, speed, and cost reduction for whenever you need to do transfers between different bank accounts. And then going over to the second part of the webinar. So one of the areas where Ebury really tries to make the difference and provide added value to our customers is through Ebury service, maybe on the side of FX and FX risk management, which again is perhaps what we're most renowned for, but also on trying to provide added value on the commercial side through optimization of your international trades and different improvements on both payments, price negotiation with suppliers, etc., etc. So being, or rather working with Ebury, not just on the FX side, for example, but utilizing as a whole on the outgoing payments, incoming payments, etc., gives us the added knowledge of how you work, and with a combination of internal in-house developed data analytics tools that our data team has developed over the years. We're able to really see your transactional flows from a higher level and be able to look at data to really tailor that service that we try to provide to each of our clients. This, for example, an email that I usually send at the beginning of the year or every 6 months to clients, just giving them an overview of the activity that they've had with us, both on a payments perspective and also on an FX perspective. So you can see here in this case, for example, that a total of 40 payments were executed, 39 of which, most of them in USD, total amount of USDs paid. And then in terms of the FX, this is a client that's doing both spots and forwards. The average rate for all the transactions executed during 2021, and then the overall rates for the spot transactions, for the forward drawdowns, giving them really visibility and perhaps a deeper understanding of how their perhaps hedging strategy has gone, how effective the hedging strategy has been, and perhaps learn or take different approaches for the coming months. Again, this is some of the visibility that we can give our customers through our data analytics tools. So here we can see, for example, the average rate for a given period of time. This is for clients that do forward contracts with us. Top graph, you can see the average rate in forward contracts for that period, and then as you go through time from left to right, you can see the average rate at each of those points in time that will be available. On the graph in the bottom, for example, you can see the blue section, which is the past balances or forward contracts that the client had with us, and then you can see going into the future, again, being able to select by dates and filter. You can see the different contracts in that given currency pair that you have available. So it really allows us, both us and the client, to really spot perhaps areas on the FX side, areas where there's a lack of hedging, where there's possibilities to improve the strategy, it allows for a more constant and hands-on approach to managing risk in this case. And yeah, just a summary of the different live forward contracts in this case. And that really allows us, as I said before, to really create bespoke hedging strategies on the FX front for our clients, which is really what we strive to do always, and where we think is one of the key areas where we can really provide extremely valuable service. In terms of payments, same thing applies. So we can use much of that data from the outgoing payments that you execute through Ebury to try to find areas where perhaps either from a commercial or from a transactional perspective, there may be improvements. So for one key example of this is the local payments push that we've been doing over the last couple of years. Namely with Chinese yuan and renminbi. It's really finding and being able to come to you with concrete figures and percentages, volumes of trade with given regions, given areas, to find potential for improvement or potential for added value. So for example, with a client, in this case, a client that's only paying in USD, through this data analytics, we can find out that 72% of those payments are going to Vietnam, just over 20% are going to India, and then Canada, Italy, and just a tiny bit to China. So in this case, we can perhaps focus on the benefits of invoicing in local currencies, and trying to focus our service perhaps in a way that's going to be more beneficial to our clients. Again, this is just a sample email of this type of information, how we share it with the customers. And in my experience, there's many times when you approach a customer with this information, this materials and data, and in most cases, they wouldn't even have realized that such a high percentage of payments can be going to one same country, for example. And again, this is just another very useful tool for the local currency side, showing this is something that we do internally and share with clients, but it allows us to really, as long as we know when different purchases were made, for example, to China throughout the year of given items with a variable price, to really try to apply market moves and the exchange rates to see whether any price increases correlated with the FX market and negative moves against the supplier. So really finding out whether it really is worth pushing for that local currency switch or not. And that's it for me. I try to keep it sweet and smooth, sweet and quick. I don't know if you have any questions. I think Boris, there may be some questions in the Q&A.
Yes, thanks, Pedro. Yeah, there are a couple questions here. So I'll take on the first one. So the first one is, I have offices all around the world. Can I pay my employees through Ebury? So yes, the answer is yes. Ebury does offer payroll payment capabilities. So we can handle all payroll payments efficiently through Ebury Online, which basically allows the customer to do one big funding amount in either Canadian dollar or US dollar, and Ebury then takes care of all the outbound payments, and that can be to a number of different countries, a number of different currencies, all through one mass payment upload. So hope that helps. Pedro, maybe you can take the second question.
Yep.
What is the benefit of using Ebury's collection capabilities compared to a traditional bank?
Okay, great question. So I think the major benefit there is, as I said before, being able to utilize the different capabilities that we have, not only on the collection side, but also on the tracking side, on the treasury side through EBO, and keeping everything under one same roof. It's very rarely that you have one bank that will give you the capabilities to hold bank accounts in more than 2 or 3 different currencies. And in many cases, when they do, the transfers between said accounts tend to be very costly. So collecting through Ebury gives you the capability on the one hand of seamlessly control your international flows under one same platform, giving you that visibility and that speed in terms of transferring liquidity between one account and the other. But then also, I think the second biggest added value here is for your clients. So if you're collecting internationally because you're an exporter and you've got clients around the world, perhaps now they're paying in USD, and they will initially continue to be paying in USD. But through Ebury, we can offer you a USD bank account, for example, account details in the US. If you've got clients in Australia, the UK, and Spain, for example, we can offer you a USD account also domiciled in Australia, another one in the UK, another one in Europe. So it makes it always easier for clients to pay. In my experience, it also makes it it gives some added value to our client in terms of the image that their clients have of them. So a Canadian company exporting to Europe that actually has local bank accounts domiciled in Europe always gives more comfort to third parties that are paying in those countries. And then, of course, ultimately, the real added value there in terms of giving your clients that ease in terms of payments and differentiating yourself from competitors is being able to invoice to invoice them in their local currency. So, for example, having clients in Hong Kong, Australia, and Europe that are currently paying in USD, being able to offer them the possibility to pay to get it invoiced in the local currencies. Obviously, through Ebury, again through the suite of products that we have, we've got both the service through the group of dealers and the capabilities through our hedging and FX forward contracts to remove any amount of FX risk that could derive from that. So we can be ultra conservative, and every time an invoice is emitted, just protect that whole invoice through a forward contract, or we can also provide you with our market intel and market updates to try to always balance a hedging strategy that best fits your needs.
Thanks, Pedro. Another question here. So how long does it take to open a currency account in euros for a Canadian company? So assuming that you're an Ebury client, it is probably done within an hour or maximum 1 day, depending on what time of the day. If you're another client, then obviously we have to onboard you as a customer first, and then it will take a couple hours to max 1 day. So pretty fast. Another question that just came in: can you tag outgoing payments, for example, specify a payment is for pension, salary, or supplier? Yes. So for every individual payment or even for mass payment, you can select the reason for payment. So that can be, for example, a payment for identifiable goods, or it can be a payment for certain service or repatriating funds, or a payment for pension or salary or payroll. So there are a bunch of different reasons for payments that you can select on the online platform, or you can select other, and then you can fill it out yourself.
Yeah, and again, I'm guessing that question was going maybe perhaps on the topic of audits and being able to have some kind of internal tracking of transactions. So through Ebury Online and through the relationship manager, we do have a number of available statements from both the FX side and the payment side, showing you all incoming payments or outgoing payments. So everything is clearly documented and visible for audits.
Thanks. And then the last question before we round up here is: do you have to pay for Swift GPI tracking? Pedro, can you take that one?
Yep, no, so that's something that we offer completely for free. We don't charge for that service. We do know that that's a very good differentiating factor that we have from many of the banks or financial institutions that offer GPI tracking. As I said, it's something very, very recent. Even many banks don't have access to GPI tracking. And even going further, I've got from my experience in Europe, which is actually in terms of banking costs, it's much better than Canada. I know that in Europe, even the MT103, which is the standard proof of payment, many banks don't generate that automatically with their payments. We do. So every time we execute a payment through Swift, in the payment receipt that we send you, we send that Swift MT103, so the payment code automatically. So that's something that we generate for most transactions, and we share with you. In case of having to request it, we do not charge for that either, which I know from my experience some banks do, and can take up to 3-5 days to be able to provide that. And then on the GPI Swift, as I said, extremely fast. Within 10-15 minutes, you should have it in your inbox if you requested, and that's absolutely free of charge.
Thanks, Pedro. And then, yeah, the final question actually just came in. Can Ebury respond to auditors who would request some information? I think it depends a bit on the information, but Pedro, maybe you can shine a bit more light on that.
Yep. So I mean, there's not much more information that I have from a client management side. I do know that during audit periods, we do get requests either from our clients directly, putting us in touch with their auditor, or from their auditors directly. So from my day-to-day, there's a procedure that we have of forwarding that to the operations department, and they handle it. But there is a clear procedure that we follow in those cases, and it's something that is extremely common. I remember in Europe at the beginning of the year, even at the end of the natural year, when the financial year, in the case of Spain, ends, 90%, 85% of all clients, we used to get audit requests and just forward them to operations. So we do have a clear procedure for those. Yeah.
All right. Thanks. That's it, I guess. So yeah, thanks again, everyone, on behalf of the entire Ebury team here in Canada. If you have any other questions, feel free to drop us an email or give us a call. And obviously, the recording of this webinar will be shared on email after this webinar. So thanks again, and have a great day. Take care.
Thank you for joining. Bye.